Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
I don't like family, cousins, uncles, nobody. Because you can't treat them the same. You know, I got a first cousin, God, I love him like a brother, another brother, but I couldn't blow him out. I couldn't, chop his head off. I just couldn't.
That's you.
Yeah. Weak. I'm weak.
We had uncles, cousins, sisters. Everyone's coming with the company. That was tough.
Of course it is.
Because when they're not performing, it's hard to have that conversation as well. So.
Yeah, well, there's never an easy time to make a hard decision. But most times, you don't have that conversation with them. Most times, they just stay.
I never hired anybody for my family. They always ask my cousins, things like that, and I told them, for me to hire someone for my family or my friend, you have to be 10 times better than anyone else I could find. And if you are, you probably won't want to work. You know what I mean? For that price, at least for this.
That's a good way, yeah. That's a great way of putting it, yeah. I've had a cousin, I hired a cousin twice and fired twice, same cousin. 40 years ago and 25 years ago. It's hard. It's hard enough with just people that you don't care about and like. Because when you fire somebody, they've got a mortgage. They've got maybe alimony payments. They've got to pay for their kids' education. And if you sit and stop and think about all that shit, you're never going to fire anybody. Unfortunately, I fired people and saw them lose their house. And I mean, it's awful. But if I had to do over again, you're fucking right, I'd fire them earlier. It's not the people that you fire that kill your business, it's the people you don't fire.
That's right.
You don't fire. And, but it's still not easy. I still don't like it. And I fired thousands of people. I mean, you think, but you should never get used to it because you're damaging somebody's life. That's just the way it is. And but, so what was the question?
We were just discussing about marriage in general, and then I just asked what it was like to work with your wife.
You ought to ask her, not him. Okay, we got enough of that bullshit. Okay, so now what case are you looking at?
My deal.
Okay.
So it's
which one? Well, this is the big.
No, she's got the big one.
Okay.
It's yeah. It's the smaller deal. It's $5 million this year in revenue. 3.1 million acquisition, 3.5 times EBITDA. Cash flows. The debt service is about 1.34. So the cash flow to debt service. It looks like a pretty good deal. They've got a motivated seller. 25 years, business been around. The guy's 65 years old. Excited to finally retire. Doesn't have a plan. So I knew the guy from years back, and I phoned him out of the blue, and we went and had a coffee, and we got to the NDA level right now, and we're just
What do they do?
Sorry?
What do they do?
Oh, it's a full HVAC mechanical contractor.
Okay.
So he's doing fire protection, HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration, and whatnot. And then he's doing plumbing and gas fitting. So it's a full mechanical shop for construction. And he has contracts in place for 3-4 years out. They call CCDC contracts, which means they have stipulated contracts in place, which is nice to see. It's a pretty solid company. It's ran through the gates, and it has all the criteria. I was going to tell you the story about how it almost failed. The deal is it's looking pretty good.
Okay, well, what were the reasons that it almost failed?
Well, this particular deal didn't, because I haven't got to that stage. But I was going to tell you about the deal that we've got in the gates that we're just in the final stages of. This deal is just at NDA level. We haven't done an LOI on this deal yet, which we'll be doing shortly. But the one that we have in the boil here is we're just starting to draft the first stage of the contract, and we were about to sign that. The owner came back and said that he wasn't interested in doing the deal. He said he wanted to walk. So I got put too much emotion in the deal because I got really upset. I was actually just really disappointed that it wasn't going to go any further because it was cash flowing. He was going to do a 30% vendor buyback. We had negotiated with the banks. They were happy seeing the 30-70 split. They were going to fund it. And then he calls me up out of the blue and says, "No, I don't think I want to do the deal." We had lowered him from 1.7 down to 1.5. So that was we were happy where we were, but and it was cash flow.
Well, normally, not always, but normally it's they're not willing to let it go unless there's more money involved.
Yeah, this is what happened. Yeah. So what I did is I sat back for about 3-4 hours, bummed, like really upset, and then I heard your voice on my shoulder. Just fucking do it. That's what I heard. And he said, because you said you have your motivated seller and you have debt service being met by the cash flow. And I thought, okay, there's the two criteria are there. This should be a done deal. So I said, how do I do this? So I called him up out of the blue, talked to Tony, my wife. We discussed it. I said, why don't we give him his offer? It was his first offer. If he entertains his offer price of 1.7, maybe he'll be interested in talking again. So called him up, said, would you talk to me if I offered you your asking price? Would you be willing to sit down and discuss, or is this a done deal? We don't waste our time or your time anymore.
And he said,
let's meet for coffee. So we did, and you're exactly right. But we got a better deal because when we originally talked, it was going to be 30% with 4% interest for the vendor buyback.
Mm-hmm.
Over 5 years, we were able to get them down to 30%, 36 months, no interest, no principal, and no interest at all on the loan.
You name the price, I'll name the terms. I mean, it just...
I couldn't believe it. It was a better deal where I was deflated, and all of a sudden...
I'm glad you weren't negotiating with Bo Valley against me. You would have been too hard on me. You would have been just too goddamn tough. I can just tell you and your wife beating me up, Well, that's great. That's great. But I've seen a $500 million deal fall apart at the final table over 50. Who was going to pay a $55,000 bill because they had a big party at the guys' club, not the sellers' club. Okay. It was a pre-close, bullshit. And it's $55,000 was the bill. Okay. And the buyer, I'm not paying that. And the seller, we're talking about hundreds of millions. And he says, I don't like the tone of your voice. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't like the tone. And the deal collapsed. And then it collapsed, and then the next day, I called the guy. I said, I'll give you $55,000 for the bill. Now the bill went to 66, but that's a whole other thing. I like getting fucked for an extra $11,000. But I said, we'll pay the $66,000. And then he said, I'm not going to call him back. So then I got on a plane and flew there, so who put up the money? I said, and he said, you put up the money, didn't you? And I said, yeah, I did.